Do you ever feel like you can't study? Have you sat down and just stared at the wall in front of you instead of doing the homework you need to do? Are you doing that right now by watching this video? Well, exams are hard, but studying for exams is even harder. So welcome to this video where we all learn how to make it through these grueling exams together. Hi, I'm Emmy and I've spent a lot of time contemplating life instead of actually studying and using that time productively. And yes, I have also sat on my desk and stared at the wall instead of using that precious time to actually study. My years of experience can save you from failing your pen license. So if you don't want to sit at those exams crying because you decided TikTok was much more important than your actual future years in front of you, then continue watching. Hi, I just want to put myself in here for a little bit before I go on with the video. Please subscribe down below if you feel like it, and make sure to check out my socials. My Instagram's here and my Spotify is down below. Let's get on with the video. Personally, I want to make it through exams a lot, so I've decided to get straight into preparation a couple of months before my actual exams are going to happen. That is what is crucial for you, for me, for your teachers, for your school life, for everything. My first tip is to leave it not too late, because if you leave it too late, you're not going to have enough time to cram all that information inside your brain before your actual exam. And even if you actually try to cram it all, you'll end up like this Emmy. And personally, no one wants to be that Emmy, at least I don't want to. So please, for the sake of everyone, start your preparation at least a couple weeks before your exam. Because if that exam has information from a whole year's worth of schooling, then if it took you a whole year to learn that information, how do you expect to cram it all in a couple days or a couple hours? Also, by doing preparation a couple weeks before your exam, you can actually pick and find out what topics that you struggle with and focus on them when you study, instead of just going into the exam not refreshing your mind on everything that you should have and just going into the exam still struggling with the topics you were struggling with before, and your studying actually making it no sense whatsoever. So please, I'm begging you, do not be that Emmy. It's not good for you and your marks will not thank you. The second step that I've implemented this year is inspired by my tutor, and it actually works. This wonderful Google Doc, which I'm going to put here, is essential for your exam preparation and practice exams on the whole. It is so helpful that you can flex on those other students at your school who are mindlessly doing exams without actually figuring out what topics they struggle with and actually marking them appropriately like you should be doing if you use this Google Doc. So by doing this, you're ahead of them. You're ahead in all aspects. Well, as long as you do it right. So back to this wonderful document I have over here. If you can see, it has many rows, many columns, but they don't extend to infinity, which my tip is, do not do an infinite amount of exams. You can't do it obviously because infinity, but don't do more than you should be doing, because it's not going to help you in the long run and it's just not good. By doing infinite amount of exams, it is useless to you, to your marks, to your teachers, to your school, to your life. I have learned from my own mistake. Previously, I've done subjects and exams and just crammed in all the practice exams, and my marks did not benefit from that. It's not going to put you above and beyond everyone else just because you did 20 exams more than a person who did 10 exams. It's not going to put you above. This is why the document I'm showing you is so important. Here I am, sitting along with all my practice exam booklets that I have received from my school. Like, look how thick that is. So you're thinking, if you got this, do you need to complete them all? Well, simple answer, no. So my document, as inspired by my tutor, has a maximum of 20 practice exams to do at home. There's no less, there's no more, just 20. Of course, you can pick and choose how much you want to do. I'm sticking with 20 because that's what my tutor recommended. If you do more, it is up to you, but I believe that 20 is the prime number of exams to do before your actual exam. So what I did as soon as I got my practice exam booklets was, of course, struggle walking into my own house, but I also immediately made this wonderful document. I separated the exams into order of when I will go through them. So the plan is to start from the lowest year to the year that it is currently in your practice exams. So make sure it is a reasonable year. I personally recommend not doing exams before 2013, 2014, 2012. They are just too old. If you haven't realized, we're in 2020, but I only recommend doing before 2013 and 2012 if you don't have enough practice exams. So if you don't have enough, as for me, I don't have enough for example environmental science, you can include practice exams from before that period just to fill in the space to make sure you get up to 20 practice exams. Make sure to start off with company exams. For Victorians and Australians like me, company exams include like TSSM, and you want to start off with these because they're not your actual exam that is run by the company you're going to do. But when should you actually do your company exam that you're going to actually take the exam for? Well, what I've recommended is to do it in 3s or 4s, depending on what you choose. I personally did it in 4s to make an even number out of 20, but of course it does depend on the subject. So what you want to do is 3 chronological exams in order that are company exams, and then the 4th one of each group will be the one by the company you're actually going for. So as you can see here, I'm going to put here for my maths, I have Hefferman inside math, and then finally I have VCA. So now that you've sorted through your exams and chosen which ones you're going to do and which ones you're not going to do, now you're good to go. But of course, I bet you're wondering, what are the other columns in my wonderful document? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you. One of the columns is if you have actually completed the exam, so all you have to write is say done or complete, or just tick it if you're printing it out. Then we have the marks obtained and marks available. So this is when you finally complete your exam and you write down what you actually got and what you didn't get and how much the exam was actually out of. What I recommend is doing 1 exam a week. 1 practice exam a week keeps the failure away. So now that you have this magical document of mine, you are going to thrive. So open up your wings and go get that good mark. But of course, there are more tips. So the next tip is to separate your subjects into the major topics you've learned throughout the year. Yes, of course, this is going to be a long process because, for example, my subjects have been learnt over a year, so there's heaps of topics, but that is why it's so essential. If you've learnt something for a whole year, just imagine the amount of topics that you need to cover that you might miss. So it's good to write them all down and know that you're going the way you should be going. I cannot repeat it enough. You need to know the topics you are doing for your exam. It is literally essential in the process of you doing the exams and actually doing the exams appropriately, not just messing around and answering some questions and thinking that you know every single topic when you actually don't. So when you finally completed an exam, you can go over it and you have to mark it, of course, but don't just mark it. Don't just sit there, look at the answers, tick yes. That is not going to help you in the long run, and is not going to help you in your exams. Like, good, you've done some questions and you're just going to put it away and dismiss that. You got it wrong. Focus on it. Make sure you know that you need to focus on that. Just ticking something and continuing on with your day isn't helpful for you, isn't helpful for your marks. What I recommend is marking your practice exam that you've done a day after you've done it. I know you guys are probably like, why wait a day? Well, let me tell you. If you mark straight after you've done it, or a couple hours after you have done it, you are more inclined to give yourself marks and be like, I knew that, it's just a little mistake, and give yourself the mark, when actually an examiner who does not know you, does not know your thought process, is just going to see it and be like, that's wrong. Cross. Another thing to do while marking your exams is to take note of what you are struggling with. This is essential in my process. So you want to take note of the topics you have been getting consistently wrong, or just certain ideas that you've gotten and want to brush up on and want to make sure that you know it in the future. This is where you will have another Google Doc. This helps you to actively seek out areas that you're constantly struggling with. So here's my wonderful document. For example, it has my first home exam, and I've stated 3 things that I've been getting wrong. And so every single time I'm going to go do another practice exam, I reread this document, get those topics, these little ideas that I struggle with in my brain fresh right before I do it, and then I will improve gradually on those topics. So yes, that's my wonderful document. It basically follows this process. You want to identify 3 main issues in each practice exam that you've been doing it and write it in. So you want to do this for every single subject. You just keep rereading these mistakes, and eventually concepts and ideas will get into your brain. So now you know how to tackle your practice exams and use them wisely. So now let's talk about the actual studying process. This is something I have push aside myself. I didn't actually sit down and actually study things I've been struggling with. I just keep doing questions, and that's not helpful again in the long run. You need to have an integrated study approach. So let's get on to how to actually study for exams without crying, because to be honest, That is hard. So of course, studying for your actual exam is hard, but it can be done. What I love to do and I recommend is the Pomodoro technique. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but if you haven't, I'm gonna break it down to you. So basically, Pomodoro technique is when you work for 25 minutes without any distractions. So of course, this means put your phone away, do not touch your phone, and you want to know that you're making the progress through that 25 minutes by setting an alarm. So during these 25 minutes, you cannot be distracted and you cannot pause the timer. So you've completed these 25 minutes, you get a 5-minute break to do whatever you want. So you can walk away from your desk or where you've been studying, stretch your legs, go get a drink of water, go get something to nibble on, or just lay in your bed and vibe. And then you just repeat this process again and again. The Pomodoro technique normally states that you do the 25-minute intervals 4 times with the 5-minute breaks in between before taking the long break. But of course, if you're new to studying, then take the break probably between 2 to 3 25-minute sections. So this long break is usually 20 minutes, but if you want to take longer, but don't take a whole hour break because you're just going to lose your whole concentration and focus. This method actually works. I've tried it before and I do it often, so it actually works. Of course, do a method of studying that you're comfortable with and you vibe with. I don't want to force any forms of studying onto you guys, so I want to recommend some stuff for y'all. First thing to do when you're studying is to always have water with you. Just have something to hydrate yourself while you're studying. Whether you want plain water or you want to spice your water up with some fruits or lemon, just have something. It doesn't matter, just as long as it is good and healthy. Do not have a Coke, do not have soft drink. Yes, your sugar level is gonna go high and then you're gonna crash and you're gonna lose your focus, and it's not very helpful. So have something healthy. Okay, I need to say this. Please have a place to study that is away from distractions. You want to be away from TVs. You want to be away from these distractions, so find yourself a little spot in the house. So you should have a place to study that is your own. And of course, another tip is to make sure you keep that place tidy and clean. Keep it clean, tidy and organized, and this will help you in your studying process. Trust me, your brain and your marks will thank you. Alright, so that's the end of my video. I hope all these tips and tricks will help you make it out of your exams alive. Thank you for watching, and if you really enjoyed this video and really liked it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Help this family grow, it will mean a lot to me. So yeah, subscribe down below and make sure to check out my other socials. I have my Instagram here, it's Amy Tomaszek on Insta, and then I have my Spotify here, which you can search up down below. If you guys want to see my other videos, go through my channel. I have a lot of playlists. I range from technology, helping you with your YouTube journey, to just everyday, just vibing, vegan food and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!